Fairlight Parish Council planning meeting. It's a meeting for the Parish Council and members of the public in attendance. It is not a public meeting. To record apologies for absence.
Councillor Stewart and Councillor Meyer send their apologies.
To receive any declaration of interest, personal or prejudice by members. Thank you. Comments or questions from members of the public? Over to you, Jeff. No? Consider and approve the signing of the chair by the chair of the minutes of the extraordinary planning meeting. This is going to be deferred because Danielle's just not had time, because of what was on that agenda, to have them prepared for tonight. Please bear in mind it was a late called extraordinary planning meeting. To consider applications referred by Rother Council. The first one, well, the first two really are, I don't know if you've noticed them, just tree removals. They've been through the TPO officer. I haven't any further comments or observations or complaints. Anybody?
It's just a shame that they built a shed near the oak tree.
Yeah, I'm sure the oak tree was there first. They did supply pictures of why it looked going. Right, Berrons, Warren Road.
Again.
It's quite a substantial redevelopment. I have not had time to get up there to see it from the road, but I know exactly where the premises is, and it is reasonably hidden to any other views.
I can make quite a few comments.
Right, Dominic, if you'd like to make some comments.
I used to do the garden for the lady before she passed away, and therefore I've got a sort of fairly good understanding of the layout of the property. The smaller shelters that they want to put the solar panel, I can't see any objection personally with that, although that they will need to cut a fair amount of trees to be able to have the light to provide the solar panel to get efficient.
We need to go to the plan, sweetheart. Jeff, we need to go to the outline of the plan.
Yeah.
We won't see it on there.
That's another.
We need to go to the block location plan or block plan.
It's going to be
The block plan, I think. See where the shed is. I've looked at it.
Basically
the one side.
smaller
Come down and across. Yeah. Down. Yeah, there.
that is
That's the shed.
the shed, the small shed there.
Yeah.
Where they want all of these basically is woodland, a lot of trees, lime trees, oak trees, and there is a pond as well. So they will need to have that's the pond. So that they will have to cut quite a few trees to be able to get enough light for it. With the larger that used to be sort of more used as a garage.
As a stable.
So it's basically a stable conversion.
Yeah.
Conversion.
But it's a very, very old building, and it needs some repairs, or if they want to use it as a building, it has to come down completely. But it would have to be.
They're not talking about that. They're talking about lots of renovations.
Yeah,
within it.
talking about turning that into accommodation.
Exactly, bedrooms and stuff, and a library. But they're talking about lots of, if you read all the print about what they're going to do, there's lots and lots of wording about fenestration and heating and stuff like that. So
So that used to be the studio of the painting, then they've got, that used to be part of the garage, and then the rest was just used as a storage for the garden, utility, garden thing.
Because the application is made for the redevelopment of this.
Yeah.
It's only a bit of rejigging on the main accommodation at present.
We've
in the
actually
front
seen this
windows.
a few months ago, didn't we? We saw it a few months ago.
Yeah.
And yes, we saw it a few months ago about what they were planning to do.
It was
this
more of
link.
that, and then
Yeah, they were talking about the link
the
of
link.
the two buildings
Yes.
and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of it's been done, but if you read the notes, it says that it was sent back by Rother and they were told to get professional help. So they've been and got professional help, and that's when they've come back. I did read it quite carefully today.
I just check, it's the small shed they're talking about, putting solar panels. Why would you put solar panels on the small shed?
Because it's probably in the sunshine.
But where's it powering? Is it powering other buildings or is it powering the small shed?
No.
No, they're big
They're
enough.
going back to the main house.
It's going to go back to
Yeah,
the main house.
main
that's
house.
right.
I just thought, I wondered if they were actually developing the actual small shed by putting on the solar powers to power the shed. But if you say it's the main building,
the sheds basically is just sort of like you've got the partitions where they put a bit of wood and their wooden storage utensil thing.
It's just a sighting for
Yeah.
solar panels.
yeah.
Just watch the space, they might come back with somebody else later. 'Cause
Well, I just think, yeah,
Mm.
that's the point, yeah.
The bigger shed, if that was an old agricultural building,
Yeah.
there's normally
it's-
restrictions on that to maintain the character and adding
Yeah.
certain windows and
I
things.
think there's
It's
actually
not-
photographs somewhere, isn't there?
it was old stables, about built in, they do say somewhere built in 1800 or something. They've got a thing on there saying,
It's on the
The
proposal,
fenestration.
isn't it?
elevations, the front elevations, I think it says there's red, blue and green when the windows were done. It might be the last one, proposed elevations.
No, I'm sure I came across photos somewhere in the application.
Yeah, there is, yeah. Unfortunately, these descriptions aren't exactly clear on it. Oh, yeah, that's the one.
That's
Well
the
done.
pictures.
All right, Dominic, you can.
Yeah.
So this would be the
Which is
barn,
1780, yeah. This
the
is
total development.
stables, yeah. That's quite good. It's quite good.
I think we need to make a couple of notes on what we want to say them.
I think they need to get
Concerns,
going on what
so
Don said.
TPO to
Yeah,
check.
we need to check the
trees.
TPOs and check the trees, whether they've got permission to chop them down if they need to. They need to come back and ask permissions.
Would it come under anything to do with heritage?
It might not need to be pulled down, but definitely pollarded.
Yeah,
Give
what
more.
this thing doesn't show, could have a look at the same view
That
on there, is
that-
whether they're
that's-
going to put...
That's the main building, and then the smaller shed will be on the opposite
Yeah.
side.
Oh right, so that's not, that hasn't...
No, these are not main buildings, these are the stables.
This is a stable
That-
block there,
Yes, it's the stables.
and they're going to do this joining on here.
Is that the main house? or the
No,
side?
that's the main.
Oh, it's the main house.
That's the
Yeah,
main
right.
house.
This is
the
The
stable,
pictures
yeah.
are the main
Yeah,
house,
yeah.
and then the stables is
Yeah.
along there.
And I think it is written into the local plan as well that they should be maintaining the character of rural buildings.
They're changing the roof, aren't they? They're changing the roof to be more suitable tiles. Apparently,
Yes,
on the stables.
I read something
Yeah,
about
yeah.
roofing.
Can I ask how visible this is from the road?
It's basically on Warren Road. It's just on the corner.
Yeah,
It's
it's quite...
hardly anybody sort of having access to it. It's only who's driving on Warren Road or walking on Warren Road that would see any changes, because the property is basically facing the woodland on the opposite side of Warren Road.
Okay. Where is it in relation to Alexander
It's-
Dean's Auditor?
It's top of Warren Road. When you go to Warren Road from Battery Hill,
It's
Yeah.
on there.
it's right on the top, on the corner, on the bend. That's
Well,
the
that's one
strongest.
where it
That's
kicks
a
up.
very strong
Yeah,
bend
yeah,
going
before it
up.
kicks up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most people don't go,
So
go
that-
through that way.
No.
Okay, I just wonder how visible it is.
But it is visible if you're walking it. Very,
If you go
very
onto the
visible.
website, there is a site location plan and it shows
I
you
must admit,
exactly.
I didn't look at it until
Yeah,
this
that-
morning,
we
so
can
I haven't
see
had
that.
time to actually.
But
I
it's
have
quite clear.
ridden my bike up there, so I know where it
Yes.
is from your
Yeah.
description. And you don't really see a great
Yeah.
deal. I'm not concentrating on what I'm doing, not looking around me, but
Can we just,
the problem is it's
sorry to
so
interrupt,
visible.
because we have the main meeting starting at 7 o'clock, so we just need to know whether we're objecting at the moment
Or
or
supporting,
not,
or
or
just leaving a
supporting
general
with
comment.
comments.
General comments.
General
General
comments,
comments.
yeah.
General comments, yeah. I think.
General comments
Yeah,
on what
we
we've
need
covered
to-
by discussion to date. And we can,
So we just want to make sure they check if the trees have TPOs.
And make sure it complies with heritage.
yeah, I do think that's my only point.
Make sure they are complying with.
For the English heritage requests in plans, because I'm sure English heritage would have something to say about it.
Probably the oldest, one of the
Yeah.
oldest remaining farmsteads
Yeah.
within Fairlight.
Yeah.
It's not been,
Because it was
Tampered
Warren
with too
Farm,
much.
wasn't it?
yeah.
English
Okay, can we move on then to 22 Wakes Lane? It's straightforward, he just wants to erect an open garage at the side of the property. It can't be viewed, it won't even be viewed by people on the footpath.
No, no objections.
I haven't got anything
No.
further.
Yep.
It'll be quite in keeping because it's going to be an oak frame.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay, so
support.
support, please. And lastly, it's just for to clarify there's an enforcement on for the damaged tree.
Application for enforcement.
Or is an application been received, an enforcement application been received? Do you want anything added on? Or
No, I
not
think it's
actually?
all working way through. So,
Or not.
you know, would be another meeting almost if we went into a full discussion on that, I think, at the moment.
Okay. All right, date of the next meeting, 28th of October, 25, to be confirmed. Let's close the planning meeting. And you have 1 minute. Sorry? Is it 7 o'clock? Okay, bear with me one It's up a couple of minutes.
It's like
Okay, it is 7 o'clock. I'll start the main parish council meeting. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a meeting of the Fairlight Parish Council, which is not an open public meeting. However, we will take questions from the audience if anyone has any questions specific to items on the agenda. Anyone? No? Thank you. Right. To receive reports and ask questions of the County Councillor Maynard, who is
Carl has not been well, but he did rather comically say, "I'll see you there tomorrow after Fairlight." And I'm thinking, no, Fairlight's bad. He might be coming for a visit somehow tomorrow, but he's not attending tonight.
he's not attending tonight. So.
It's a surprise.
We've had apologies for Councillor Meir.
sorry,
Order.
I don't know who Tim's got. Tim's got.
Yes. Yes. So over to Councillor Grohne.
Yeah, there's not much to report other than the huge matter of the local government reorganisation. So the plans have been drafted up by Rother District Council with a submission deadline of Friday to send to central government, and we're all going back in the chamber tomorrow for an extraordinary meeting to vote on it, which more or less it's not going to be a heavily debated matter. It's a document that needs to be submitted, so we'll be doing that.
Have you seen it?
Yes. And I think it's publicly available, isn't it?
I haven't looked through it myself. I will do.
I mean, at this stage, there's not a lot of detail in it, so it's very much, we will work together with other groups. The big discussion is over the dispersal of the region and how it comprises. So the very logical one of 500,000 people in East Sussex, 500,000 people in West Sussex, and around 500,000 people around Hove, and they would all form their own groups and then come together under a mayor. That's being challenged by some of the groups, some of the parties in there want to see a coastal strip, and their fourth version of that plan of grabbing the coastal strip is to include Lewis. So it's all sort of a bit mad, but it's last ditch, and I don't think that was discussed at scrutiny last night, but I don't think anything's going to happen. I mean, the plan's going to go in. Rother's point of view has been we're better to be in it than to be at the end of the line, so they're just one of the early councils to move forward and submit proposals.
Am I correct in thinking Wealdon is now not in support of it? Or what's their stance? There's been some news.
I don't know the latest with Wealdon, other than generally Wealdon has tons and tons of pots of cash, and nobody else in the entire area does.
Right.
So that tends to fall. They have a different view, you know, on how things should operate. Basically, you know, like we don't want to support everybody else. We're quite happy being rich.
Is there any comment about the coastal preservation, bearing in mind that East Sussex got, you know, we've got this sort of dodgy coastal area?
It doesn't go into that level of detail, but we've had that conversation with officers to try and get their assurance that, yeah, that would pass on upwards.
But that's not been mentioned in the...
It's not part of the submission because that's a detailed fact. I mean, that's the covenants of what and responsibilities of what each organisation. But it would get carried forward as the general consensus, and I'm going to have further meetings to try and clarify that and what in writing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with regards to the disposal of the land that we talked about here on the cliffs. And it also sort of rolls into the pumps a little bit as well.
Absolutely, and the protection of the cliffs totally, and all the cliffs all along, because it's not just us, it's really...
Exactly, yeah. I mean, there's nobody else who can do it. Who else is going to do coastal protection?
Well, we just want them to take it into account. I mean, you know, if they don't take it into account, it'll be, oh, I didn't think about that, oh, well, never mind.
Well, yeah, we'll leave it to the parishes.
Yeah, well, no, thank you. No, yeah.
Anyone got a few million?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so,
No, personally.
Okay,
Thanks,
anything
Tim.
else?
no, I can't think of anything else that's that pressing there.
Right, thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay, 3 to receive, to record apologies for absence.
Just Councillor Stewart and Councillor Meyer. Any from...
No, you can get an official card on face.
Oh, here he is.
Oh, here he is.
Oh.
Good evening.
And potholes. Wow. He's recovering. He's been poorly.
I will just reverse one and come on, Maynard, if you have anything for us tonight.
Thank you.
Talk about the vote tomorrow.
Yes, well, I'll just cover it off a little bit more. So the submissions to go to government have got to be in by Friday. Previously, we thought all the districts and boroughs were going to be supporting what is the county-wide bid for one unitary for the existing boundary of East Sussex. Wealdon have now decided to go with what Brighton have put on the table, which if you go, I shouldn't comment about it really, other than to say that that dramatically increases costs. There's no way you can deny that, because they're talking about 5 unitaries, so it's interesting to say the least. Government will have to make up its mind, and we'll see what happens next. But the challenge is, I mean, aside from all that, and I would say it, wouldn't I, but the reality is, without making a political comment, the challenges around local government funding are not eradicated by introducing changes in local government structures. Now, the cynics amongst you might say that's a smokescreen. But if you look at it very pragmatically, you would say that the government, and this is a central government thing, not a local government, the central government need to still address the massive national shortfall in funding in children's services and adult social care. Local government can't resolve that. Local casework, it's mainly around block drains and potholes. Not so much in Fairlight. You've got excellent parish council in particular who looks after you, but without being facetious, genuinely, I think you have less problems up here. Any problems, I'll report them obviously through to Jeff, or report them off to myself, or on the website. As I said before many times, and it is worth me just emphasising it once more here. If there are persistent problems you know about, do come to me, because I can then liaise with the steward and we can hopefully resolve that. That's why I do the walk-arounds in Fairlight and the other villages that I represent, because I think it's really important that you don't want to be looking at the same pothole, the same overgrown hedge, the same flooding problem every winter, and that's what I'm trying to address. Thank you.
Thank you. Any
Can I ask
questions?
you a question, Carl?
You can.
Given the recent cabinet reshuffles in central government, could there be a change in overall plan towards this local government organisation?
Yes.
I mean, that could.
We don't know.
We might be going through all of this, and actually
We
at
don't know.
the top they might change their mind.
They have been known to change their mind.
Once or twice. Can I say something? I have reported on the website the hedges all along Fairlight Road and down, no, it's Peter James Lane, Rosemary Lane. They are well out of order. They need taking back at least a metre.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take that to the steward as well.
I'm sick to death of my car being scratched.
And I believe some of these have already received letters from highways.
They are adopting, I should have said earlier on, they are adopting a far harder attitude with landowners. There's a number that have been served in the other villages I represent. Funnily enough though, one of the worst offenders was one of the schools. But they didn't realise that it was their responsibility, not the county council. That's the thing. There are those landowners, especially those that have recently moved in, that genuinely don't know that cutting hedges is their responsibility. But not only is it important to cut the hedges, but it's important to cut them at the right time of year, obviously. And that's why the steward's being quite proactive in, I don't like that word, but it's true, in being quite hard with landowners that consistently aren't cutting back hedges. I mean, I've noticed, I did a little drive around last week just to sort of look at that particular issue across the whole division, and there are areas of hedging in all of the villages I represent that need the sort of severe cutback that you've alluded to, where they've been missed year on year, and I have to say, where there's a pedestrian safety as well as vehicular safety at risk, we have to get on top of that. Before I finish, just in case I'm not here when you start to talk about a certain planning application, I would like to personally put on record how sorry I was to hear in passing of Lord Smith, because I think most of you in this room will know just how hard he's fought on behalf of Fairlight residents, and I was as shocked as anybody else to hear of his passing, because if there's one man you would have said would have lived till he was in his 90s, it would have been Lord Smith. Yes. So I'm very sorry to hear that, and I would like to, obviously I'm sure you're doing the same, but I'd certainly like my condolences passed on to his family. I haven't called his dear lady wife because of the simple reason I don't know obviously how things are at the moment, but I'd like to pass on my condolences through you, Jem, to Lord's family. Thank you.
We actually had an emergency planning meeting last week in discussion of the obvious subjects.
I've got to go to read later, so I'm just...
Yeah. Is there anything else?
Not from me.
Thank you, Councillor Maynard. Sorry, where were we there now?
I think we're on Code of Conduct now.
Code of Conduct, to receive any disclosures of members of the public, members of personal prejudice, interest matters on the agendas. Members are reminded to repeat their declaration immediately prior to commencement of the item in question, and B, complete the declaration form. Anything? No? I'll declare an interest when we go into a confidential session in regards of the activate list. To consider and approve the signing of the chair of the minutes of the extraordinary parish council meeting held 6th of August 25. Did everybody read them?
I think so.
Any comments?
Some time ago.
Too late for comments, really. Thank you. Six, external auditors reports for 24 and 25. To note the external auditors report and to receive the 24-25 notice of conclusion of the audit. Did you all have a quick look at the audit?
I haven't seen it, no.
No, it did come out supporting paperwork. There was one small comment which basically says information has come to our attention from the internal auditor highlighting the fact that the notice of conclusion of the audit and the external auditor's report certificate were not published on the authority's website by the dates specified on the accounts and audit regulations of 2015. Just to make everyone aware, this was really to do with the fact that there was an investigation over that financial year. The signing off of that investigation and therefore the external audit came out while we were technically without a proper officer clerk. It was received, however it wasn't published because we had no means of getting it officially out there. This has been explained and accepted, to the best of my knowledge, by the auditor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Any comments, mate? Southern Water report about Fairlight Mains replacement scheme. We have, I'll take the three of you now. Three. Grown since I lived last time. So we're going to have 10-15 minutes.
I've emailed you, so I don't know if you can get it on. I've only got HDMI, so I don't know if you've taken that.
It's HDMI. Here we go.
Thank you, Chair. That's very kind.
Incidentally, has everybody seen the FRA email about Lower Wakes Lane being closed
Yes.
overnight? Yeah. Yeah.
You might need to put them plug in again in your place and pick it up. I think you've got a loose connection on that.
A couple of these. Got about 10, so I'll see how we get on sharing.
Have you got any spare ones of these?
I've emailed it to them, but I've got 10 here, so I'll put a few.
Yeah, it's just I need them for a meeting next couple of days. Thank you very much. We've got an AGM where we live and it's all around where we are. So thank you.
You've got plugging your machine on to mating properly. Comes on while you wiggle it now and again. Got another port.
It's got a good lights on.
Got another port.
Use HDMI Southern Water because it's all seen stuff, so it's never been used. Never been tested. If I'll just talk through it, I'll have you all. That's that back of that, so basic.
I haven't got a copy of it.
That's what I'll talk through, that's fine. As long as everybody can see a copy. Technology's let us down.
Again.
Thanks everybody, thank Chair, thank you for having us today. Just an update on the water mains renewals that's coming up very soon. So initially there'll be an introduction to the project team. Myself, Nick Marshall, Senior Project Manager. Southern Water's Project Manager's a chap called John Cole, couldn't make it today but he'll be here next week. We've got Meter will be our stakeholder and customer lead and Jess is stakeholder as well. So formal communication will come into the Parish Council via Jess. I'd like to introduce our new delivery partner who won the contract, and that's United Infrastructure, represented by Jason at the back. And that's our introductions. Project overview, it's very much what we presented at the Pathfinder meeting a few months back, and it's replaced 4.6 kilometres of the existing water mains, which is bonded cement. And so that's the 2-inch, the 3-inch, the 4-inch will be taken out as per the map that you can see. It's all the stuff in red that's getting replaced. And we're putting brand new polyethylene piping and service pipes and meter boxes where we can get onto them, depending on locations when we get out into the village. That's pretty much replacing the whole village.
When you say meter boxes, do you mean individual meter boxes?
Yes, yeah, boundary boxes.
House.
Yes,
Everybody's house
Yes.
meter.
yes. So that's the intention. That's our standards. It's to replace everything. That's what require us to do. If we do a replacement, we generally try to replace everything.
So it's replacement from the mains coming
From the
in
main-
to the meter on the property and it stops there.
Just that box that you
Just
see,
the box.
just the
But
box
what
outside
about
your
the-
house.
What about the pipe between the mains and the...
That's where our responsibility stops. That little box that you've got your stopcock in or the meter, that's Southern Water's end of our responsibility.
But what about from the mains to that box?
Yeah, we do that bit. That's
Yes,
cool.
you do that bit. Yes.
That's a
fine.
communication
Yeah,
pipe in the trade.
Yeah. Okay.
So services are
Have
easy.
you visited all the sites that you're doing?
How do you mean?
Have you actually been to the sites?
We've had a walk around here a couple of times. There's going to be
Because-
some tricky ones. We know that.
Yeah, well, I've been in Fairlight Gardens, been a director there,
Okay.
and that seemed to be quite heavily, target is not the right word, there's a lot of work seems to be because there's only one road going into it, which is going to be sorted. Then it's through a car park, and it would appear...
Is that little square there?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's on the list. So there'll be every meter in there, every service pipe.
So, sorry, I know you're going to... Is there a starting point that you're going to work from? I.e., are you starting at the top and working down, or how are you...
That's to be decided.
Right.
So it's an introduction. We've only awarded the contract this week. It's still going through execution. Then it gets handed over, and that planning and design phase will start from then. So you get a bit ahead of yourself. But the general idea, replace everything.
Because there's sort of, we've got an AGM next week, and one of the agenda meetings is how it affects our car parking. Is there's only one entrance to actually...
Yeah. There will be some disruption. It's where the existing main is and where our best route in to keep around the gas, the electric, the heating. So we've got all that stuff to avoid, as well as cars and trees and front gardens. It's challenging.
It is a challenging one, isn't it?
So will Jason be communicating with the people involved, like in this case with Lee? Will you be communicating with Lee as he's director of the company for all that?
We have a comms girl, Elle. So she'll be doing a lot of communications on our behalf, yeah.
So do you need all their contacts points, or have you got them?
I don't know if they're in the...
We'll have to check the comms plan because the customer team. If there's something needed, we'll get that. We've got a customer dropping next week, which is part of this.
Yeah.
So we can start picking stuff
so our
up from
meeting's
there.
is the week before.
Okay.
So
we're next Thursday, aren't we?
yeah, I think we've got the village hall, haven't we?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can take some contact details now and get you on the comms plan and get you on that distribution.
Good.
That's
Thank
not
you.
a problem. So that's the job. It is, we're replacing everything. Old pipe that went in the 50s and 60s out. And brand new polyethylene. It's got a design life of 70 to 100 years.
Sorry, can I ask another question?
Yeah, of course.
I know I've
Q&A
seen
was at the end,
I've
so
seen
just
the...
jump-
Oh, so
jump into the-
I can do it at the end or now?
No, you're fine.
So I understand, I've seen how the cotton reel works.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get the existing pipes out?
They stay in the ground.
Ah, right.
They're capped off and they're drained, capped off, and concrete plug on the end.
Well, I think that's a worry with people, how you're going to lift that machinery down to the lower areas.
No, they stay in the ground.
So I'm going to think.
It's too expensive to take them out, and that's the honest answer. You're almost paying double and digging twice the holes to take the old stuff out. Yeah.
Will it collapse?
That shouldn't. If it does, we have to come and fix it, don't we? We're still liable. It's still our asset. We've still got to maintain it, look
So we won't
after
get
it.
sinkholes.
Second.
Won't get
But
sinkholes.
they're only that big anyway, so it's not 300, 400 mil sewer that you would get a sink.
And is it a repair and go or repair at the end? In terms of the disruption, because you obviously got...
Oh, we reinstate as we go. That's the plan, isn't it, Jason? Full reinstatement as we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Might be some temporary bits that we have to go back on. But
We've got tiles all the way through.
it's a right first time because it's cost effective, isn't it, just to do it once and move on. Progress to date then. So the contract was awarded last week to United Infrastructure after a mini competition that we had, which is the plan for and paid for value for money, which is again a requirement from the regulator. Drop-in is our next event, which will be next Thursday. Yeah, letters have already gone out to the village, so hopefully we get good attendance. It's not just going to be the water team that are there next week. We'll have the project delivery, which will be myself, the project manager. We'll have the customer team, United Infrastructure, represented by Jason. The local water inspectors and the network team are also planning to attend. So these guys know the network, so they'd be good to speak to them if there's any issues from the locals. The wastewater network.
Sorry, can I just finish? Do you know the times for next Thursday? Because the meeting is recorded.
3:30 to 6:30 as usual. I do have a copy of the letter which it is, isn't it? 3 p.m. to 6:30, Thursday, 2nd of October.
And that's here in the control space.
Excuse me, sorry to...
Hi there.
The letter that went round, to me, it appeared there was 2 meetings, one at 3 o'clock and one at 6.
No, it's 3 to 6.
The wording was wrong.
It does say, yes.
Thursday and 6.
3 does say 3 p.m. and 6 p.m.
So
So it's 2.
I will take that with the customer team. It's 3 to 6.
we was
between.
yes.
You thought you were going on 6:30.
Okay, so it's between 3 and 6.
Do we need to do something up? Is the message out there that it's what do people expect to do? Turn up at 3 and turn up at 6:30? If they turn up at 6:30, we're gone.
Well, this is it, the way it's worded.
Okay, leave it with us.
So you need to get them to do an English language, GCE, and they'll be all right.
Yes, we do. I do not proofread them, so I will not take the blame for that. We'll also have the fat oil and grease team for any helpful advice on flushables, these sorts of things, down the toilets and sort of things. So they'll be here giving out freebies to look after any fat oil and grease in the network. Because I know you had problems with that with the Pathfinder stuff.
Yeah.
I have invited the Pathfinder team. I think they're quite busy next week. They haven't committed yet.
Oh, I haven't. Oh, right, the Southern Water Pathfinder.
Yes, yeah, that's our guys that will be doing the rest of the work in the next few years. So they've been invited for any questions.
Okay.
So that's a drop in next week. My next steps after contract award. Trial holes, non-intrusive trial holes and surveys throughout the site. We're looking from end of October to start coming into site, looking at these things. Do you want to talk through your virtual trial hole? Sorry to put it on the spot.
Yes, so virtual trial holes is done by ground penetrating radar, essentially, and they take a 5 metre area, full width for the road, and they'll come along and do that, and then do a big drawing of it so that we can tell, to save us digging umpteen trial holes, we'll dig less holes and add more of the virtual trial holes, as we call them, just so that you can see, and it gives you a really good display of everything that's there, tells you everything that's in the way.
That's the little man here with the yellow thing.
I'll get to that later. Similar sort of thing.
Yeah.
For the traditional method, we would do a trial hole every 50 to 100 metres, so it's trying to reduce the disruption and give us a better design go at it to pick the route and get it in right first time. We've got quite a few environmental studies to do, most of it down Lower Wakes Lane and up on the Triple SI up the top. So that'll be birds, we'll be out nesting season by the time we're on site. Bats we've got to go and have a look at, and these sorts of things, the flat flora and the fauna as well, so we'll be doing them. Got a note in there about morphology, which is a mixture of horizontal directional drill and open cut. I'll explain them when we further get down. We spoke to Sussex Highways this morning. Unfortunately, we were hoping for some early entry on some of the sections, but they'll put 3 months and that's it, so that's our notice period. Once they go in, there is no wiggle room for us to get in early, so we're going to have to sit out the 3 months at the moment.
What does that mean?
It's what's called a TTRO, Temporary Traffic Order. So they need to publish it under New Roads and Streetworks Act in the local press.
So does that mean a delay?
It means we can't start as early as we'd like.
Or
So it's
anywhere?
Only on the highways bits. Private roads we can do by negotiation to get in early.
Just a word of warning, they say that Lower Wakes Lane is not a private road, it's a public highway.
No, they were telling us different this morning.
Well, be careful, because they've sued us, they've threatened to sue us because we put in...
That was different
It's
to
a
what they were
private
saying
road.
this morning.
It's not a private road.
No, but it is a private road that they have all their laws still applied to.
Yeah.
So they can go
We're
either
speaking,
side.
that's one of our jobs for tomorrow. We've got a property expert that's an absolute master in this sort of stuff. His thoughts are that we can go in under Streetworks Act because it's classed as a street. When we were talking to the highways this morning, kind of brought it up with them and they would know it's private. So might have a battle there, but we've got an expert on our side.
So you put the lines as private, so you'd be straight in there, wouldn't you?
Yeah. We've still got Water Industry Act Section 159 notices to do, which is a month consultation and 3 month notice period. but you don't have to sit it out. You can agree to go in early.
Yeah.
With the relevant people, which is the next bit on the slide. Really. So well done, you.
Good luck with highways because they are really.
They've been helpful with us so far. We've just got to stick to that 3-month notice.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
this
met them a
morning
few
they were
times.
just sort of saying that Broadway, Driveway, a bit of
Smugglers.
Shepherds was all that we. Shepherds and actually Wakes Lane, where we've got a few ties and connections to run that work. The only thing that they were interested in. They weren't interested in any other roads.
And it'd be interesting to wait and see what happens.
They've got a difference of opinion to our estates person who says we can go in under street works. We'll have a chat with him tomorrow.
Yeah. Might ask you if you're expert at some expert's name at some point.
Yeah, he'll be around. He will look after the land entry plans. We've got some bits on private that we need to get into. If any meters are in gardens, we do that by a letter of notification, which is agreement. Just sign the letter and we can come and replace it, and that's a pretty simple process. For the private sections at the top of the shop, you have to forgive me, but I don't know what that bit's called there. Again, we need to through the gardens there, so we need a bit of investigation into that, where it is, where we're going to go, and again that'll be under that 3-month notice period, unless there's early entry agreed. That little bit there.
Top of Briar's Close.
Close, where it goes across the gardens.
Next to the just up there before you go up, where it goes round and you've got a substation. There's a main that links through to Briar's.
Oh, yeah.
That's the sort of stuff we're up to from October. It's survey planning preparation, putting programmes together. We'll be out and about. Customer drop-ins, more letters will go out and updates. We're intending to come to the Parish Council once a month, just for 5 minutes, if that's acceptable to you guys.
Yes, please.
Might not be next month, we'll see how we're getting on, so I think probably a bit too soon, but certainly thereafter, once we've got some plans in place and such.
Right. Can I just ask one question? When you talk about the reinstatement, as you know, and it's been mentioned already, a lot of it is unadopted gravel roads. Are you just going to do like for like? Or
that's our starting point. And if there's cutback required, we'll go to all the specifications, which again is the Street Works Act. So it does require you to cut back if it's in poor condition.
Right.
So it will not be a full replacement. We just haven't got the budget for it. And if that's the way the village goes, then it's going to reduce installing amounts. Simple as that. Because we've got set authorised sums, and that's what we've got to try and stick to.
Yeah.
But cutback is expected. Starting points like for like, which I think we had the same conversation with the Pathfinder group. First question that was.
And just out of matter of interest, the stuff in blue, which I take it's not being done.
That's already been done in the 90s.
Right, that's because it has been.
And there's no, you see the little red dots on there, they're the first history hotspots for those. Not counting the last couple of years. That's when that data was taken. Construction overview, next one. So site activity should start in October, and that's the survey stuff, customer visits. Our construction estimate at the moment is 9 to 12 months. At the moment we think we're going to possibly start January. We're going to try and push, aren't we?
Yeah.
If we can get in early, it's beneficial for everybody. I mean, the residents of Maynard and Fairlight Trust have asked us to get up there first, so once these guys are in contract and we can get them land entry plans, we're going to start speaking to them if we can get in there early. If not, it will be sit-out notices, which it puts us into January for a start on site. And programmes due mid to end of October, which will have a detailed schedule of roads by roads at that point to share as well. Hopefully we'll have some bit more information next Thursday, but end of October will be the expectation to get something to you guys to put out to the village. Right, mythology. Next two pictures are how we're going to get the mains in the ground. The top one you'll see is what's called horizontal directional drill. So that's a reduced dig technology where we can drill sections 50 to 100 metres long. So that's a pit at one end, pit at the other, and the pipe then goes in underground, which the virtual trial holes will help us understand where we can and can't do it. There's some road earmarked for it at the moment. So once these trial holes and surveys go in, that will give us a better indication where we can get in. Where that's not possible, it will be the traditional method that's been going on for years that you see on the bottom of the side, which is called open cut. And that is the long trench with a long pipe in it. Probably 50, 100 metre sections at the time you'll want to go for, won't you? Yeah, and that's a traditional, slower way of doing it. But with stuff in the way, that's what you need to do with other utilities and these sorts of things.
Does that machine work on different levels?
Good. Yeah, it can go done in 30 metres.
How big is this machine?
It depends on how big the pipe is and the ground conditions.
Right.
You can get various levels. The smallest ones will be the size of a mini digger.
Okay.
And that's probably what you'll see. 2 to 4 metres long, aren't they?
The one that we're thinking of bringing in is a 60, so it's about 5 metres long. You need the rod that comes off, so the rods are 3 metres long. The rod that comes off to put the drill in, so you'll have 2 rods, so that technically the whole first excavation will be 5 metres long, with 2 rods coming back, and then about a metre away you'll have the actual drill, and then it just feeds in and off it goes.
Excuse me, how wide would that be? Would it sort of
In places it will do, yeah. Yeah, in places. I mean, so we're looking to close the roads where, that's why we need the TTR roads and stuff, close the roads where we need, because the machine itself, it's about, what I'm thinking is, it's about 3.5 metres wide.
And the only other thing I've really got is, have you been in contact with the Pathfinders group itself
Yep.
to do with this
Yeah,
work?
I'll speak to
So
them.
you're aware that you're probably going to want to cover some natural springs and move them around different areas of Fairlight.
They haven't told us that.
Most of our natural springs are in an area you're not actually
Okay.
replacing, but there are definitely springs that crop up in areas that you are.
I don't know, Rockmead.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Rockmead and
Rockmead.
Stream Lane.
We're not going to go much past 90 mil deep, 900 mil deep, sorry.
Right. Okay.
And like to Rockmead, we won't be able to drill. Just because
No,
of
you won't.
the amount of stuff with all your boreholes and
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be open cut, so.
Yeah.
And so with
Okay.
900 cover, and I suspect some places like Rockmead we might need to come up to 750. Down, we'll get down that deep. Do you know how deep these springs are and where they are?
No.
No?
They mainly affect the area you're not actually covering,
Okay.
which is handy. But we have got one, I mean, an infamous one just on the corner here in Wakes Lane.
Yeah, coming out there.
Yep, they address it
Are they
sort of every
winter
3 months. No, just every time it rains, I'm afraid.
Okay, so
And so far they've moved that one. They haven't cured it. They have moved it about 6 times in 2 years.
they're never killed them once they're there, aren't they?
So that's my only real concern, is that if you come across one, you could just disturb where it comes up. Generally isn't a nuisance, and it might literally sprig off and come up wherever the disturbance has been.
There's one opposite the junction of where Broadway,
Are these mapped
Wakes
anywhere?
Lane.
No,
No.
but they're
You just
no
know they're there.
Yeah.
I might tap some local knowledge on that.
Yes.
Just on the other end of this drill, that's where our pipe cool trailer will sit, that holds the pipe. So the drill goes in underground and the pipe then pulled back through. So that's intended to keep the disruption down where we can. So there are 2 methods. And I think that is everything I have for you. There's been a FAQ's gone out with a letter as well, so I've got a couple of copies of them and passed around. Patients on to everybody. Obviously run out of staples. I was punching it. We'll give a few of them out.
Forward one goes in there, I can get it alongside the minute.
They should be on everybody's doorstep, these anyway. This is an amendment to the letter.
Are you doing a door drop on areas you're not working in?
They've done a polygon which pretty much covers the whole thing. Yeah, we won't just let it drop where we're going. You want to pick up everybody else around it with disruptions around. There'll be a start on site letter when we've got that confirmed start date as well, so that'll pick up that.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
us.
Is there any other questions? Okay. Thanks very much. Thank you.
We'll see you next Thursday.
Yes.
And we can get in there at 3 o'clock comments. I think we're in this week.
Yes. I'll make sure.
Exactly. Lovely, thank you.
Steph?
I would check first before you commit yourself.
Well, I haven't booked it, so the girl who's booked it's on holiday, but somebody is filling in for us, so I'll check.
Well, my wife books it.
Oh, okay.
If she says you haven't got it, you haven't got it. If you have, you have.
I'm told we've got it.
Well, then if you've got it, then it's been...
Peter rebooks them on our
Then
behalf.
Steph said it's okay.
She's away. They said small one. I don't know which is the small, this one or that one.
This one.
Definitely.
Okay, we're going to have to carry on, I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
thank you.
Thanks very much.
I'll see.
Financial matters. Sorry. Okay, section 8, financial matters. To receive a list of the income and expenditure of July and August. Did you get that with any questions? To receive a list of items paid and payments for September. Yes?
Yep.
To receive receipts and payments report. Yep. To approve July and August reconciliation. Yep. Right, to agree to transfer 10,000 from the NatWest account into the Unity Trust account. This is purely a money movement for interest purposes and stuff.
Oh no, it's not because of that, it's because we've got quite a lot coming out, because obviously I've got the leases.
Routine payments.
No, it was because I got the invoices for the leases, which I didn't know when they were coming. And there's 3 invoices for those, and then there was an invoice for the compressor as well.
Oh, of course, yes.
So I've got quite a lot going out. Yeah, so we need a bit more in there.
Okay, that's okay. Consider Clerk's request of the payments of the following options.
Sorry, before you go through this is purely because Amazon and places like that, obviously I can't use back payments, and the dog waste bags, this is mainly why I can't pay free paper anymore. They've stopped allowing it, so I need a card, and obviously it'd be useful to just have one.
So we're in agreement. You've noticed the charges, they're not particularly vast, and we're moving well and truly into the 21st century now.
There's 2 options. There's a Unity corporate multi-pay card, which was the set-up fee of £15 and £3 a month thereafter, with no fee for transactions. But I think the best option would be the NatWest debit card, which is it's got no set-up charge, no monthly charge, it's just 35p per transaction. I can't imagine I'm going to use it more once every 2 months.
Work out most cost efficient, and if Danielle's happy with that, everyone in agreement? Thank you. Right, to note upgrades to EMR codes. I think we've covered this in one go, and to agree attached recommendations of EMR movements. Are you all basically okay with what earmarked reserves really stand for? So it's where we try and have money put aside for specific projects, and then we have a general reserve for day-to-day running costs. I'm going to go by what I've written down, I'm afraid. So, under the last council, they sort of ran 2 finance recordings. We used then Rialtos, but also Excel spreadsheets. When we looked into this, we found they didn't actually exactly tally. Now we've gone totally electronic with Rialtos for all intents and purposes. So we've got some historic movements which were agreed, minuted, which were showing on the old spreadsheets but not showing on our Rialtos system. So we want to correct them. And then we want to do some internal movements and really simplify it. So it looks complicated, but it's not. It's actually just straightening it up and moving a little bit of pots here and there. So you've had a printout, or you've got a printout in front of you is what was on the system, but not necessarily what was on agreed spreadsheets in the past.
So on Rialtos, it's basically on instead of the previous clerk keeping records, writing it all out on Rialtos, she did it on a spreadsheet, which is fine. But I think it would be easier for me to follow it, having it all on Rialtos. People do it different ways. Some people have it on a spreadsheet. Some people have it on Rialtos. There's no right or wrong. It's just I would find it easier to have it all listed on Rialtos rather than use a spreadsheet as well.
So if we go through one by one on the second page, really, we had a late payment, a late second payment of SIL money, a top up from the Market Gardens some time back of £3,133.13. All of the SIL money is normally in the EMR pot. That in general reserve hadn't been moved across, so we're going to move that across to join all other CIL money. Yeah? Agreed. Right. Fairlight Pavilion and Faircom and Fairlight Pavilion were sort of split in two sections. There was some residual money left over from the original money for Faircom when it very first started. Then there was a pot for more recent Faircom, and when it became Fairlight Pavilion. Really, we want it all to go onto to just one entry under Fairlight Pavilion. There was limited agreement that £3,000 of the budget in 22-23, which was never spent, should go into that pot in EMR. The reason we want to keep Fairlight Pavilion as a EMR is because the future is still unknown on the project overall. It may come up again, but it's best and safest just to leave any money associated with what was Faircom, now Fairlight Pavilion, in one heading under EMR. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
And can you just go over So they were both Fairlight Pavilion and Fairlight Village Hall were both under fixed asset replacement, but I've split them now. So there's Fairlight Pavilion, which is code 332, and then I've changed the name to Village Hall Emergency, which is code 365, which had £5,000 under. So I just wanted to check you're all happy to keep the 5,000 under the Village Hall Emergency, and then we'll still have 12,000 under fixed asset replacement.
And that's for totally different things. Fixed asset replacement 12,000 is totally different to the 5,000 and the 7,000.
Yeah, but it was all under the same code.
So we separated.
But I've separated it into 3 different ones.
In fairness, it's always under separate codes on spreadsheets,
Yeah.
Right,
but
yeah.
not on the Rialtos, so we want to put
yeah.
them separately on Rialtos.
Do we know? Oh yes, I know. So ignore me. Yeah.
RDC lottery. Ever since the RDC lottery fund is set up, normally monthly it's been transferred into EMR for a rainy day payment for whatever the village, the council or the village may decide it needs to be used for, which I'll come on to in a minute actually. We haven't been transferring it across for the last better part of 7-8 months. So
since I started, because I didn't know.
It totals 718 to move across from general reserves into that heading. As you can see, it's been suggested by Councillor Stewart to use this fund for Woodfield, which we can go into a little bit later. But Woodfield hasn't really got an earmarked reserve as such of any type. We have had expenditures on Woodfield with the French drain and the path down to the tennis club, and there's likelihood we're going to have more expense to come in the near future.
What about the playing field subject? Is that as a separate? Has that got a separate fund? The playing.
Well, Woodfield.
No. Sorry, I meant the kiddies area.
The swing park.
Yeah.
There was none left in that.
There's nothing left in there.
Should there be one for that? That's what I'm asking. Was there one for that?
There was on the spreadsheet. It did have an EMR on the spreadsheet, which I can't remember which code it was under, but there was nothing left in it. But we can make one for it.
We can make one.
Do whatever we want.
That's against being in the general Woodfield. Should that be a separate? Because we spent a lot of money on the new kit and stuff for that, didn't we, last year?
Yes, yeah, that's why the pot, that's why
It was
the
empty,
pot,
yeah.
swing pot got emptied.
Yeah,
because
so,
of the
so
new
we should have a
swings.
separate code for that, really. Yes, no?
We can make a separate code on Rialtos for the playing
Yeah.
area. That's fine.
Yeah, I can do.
Would that seem sensible? Yeah.
I think there's still a little bit in the budget for usage at the moment. But yeah, okay.
So if I make a new code for it for the play equipment, and then are we in agreement that the lottery funds go into a Woodfield fund, EMR, or do we want that to be split across a Woodfield and a play equipment EMR, or do we want it all to go into?
I think just a split. 3/4 and a quarter split, 3/4 on Woodfield, I would suggest, and a quarter on Play Park. Play Park's got no major expense coming up to my knowledge. It'll have the, inspection early next year.
Is it all right? All the ground is all right?
Yeah, it might be a bit on the more bar to
Yes,
be
yeah.
replaced, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be a huge amount, and most of the work has been done so far, so it's just the...
And I'd say there's still money in this year's budget to address some stuff like that anyway. But yeah, but to build up a little pot for the swing park. Yeah. Okay, agreement? That 3/4, quarter split.
Yeah.
Right, under one allocation, there was £2,000 for professional fees. Was it 2,000 originally? What was it?
3,000.
3,000 for professional fees, which was set up about 3 years ago, and 3,100 for emergency radios. There's always been a plan to do with the village emergency plan that we may look into actually having shortwave radios, maybe 4, 6 for emergency uses. These are totally self-contained, like walkie-talkie, local. They have a spread. They can spread through the whole of Fairlight Coast, near enough. But we just thought, well, worst case scenario, perhaps part of the emergency plan we get emergency radios. There was at the time a plan to have a larger system, but now we can get second-hand units if needed, even brand new units, probably 4 handsets for only £1,100. So there's not much point in keeping 3,100 in the budget, even in EMR for that, when it will never cost that. So we suggest that an extra 2,000 from there gets moved across to the professional fees.
Seems sensible.
Oh yes. There was allocation. What's it called? 352.
I've just changed the title of 2023-2023
Oh, right. Yeah.
allocation to additional grants as per the EM. So that's just following what the EMR spreadsheet had on it.
Yeah. So
it's just basically a note that I've changed the title.
Yeah, I know what happened there. About 2-3 years back, there was quite a large under expenditure 1 year on grants, and the following April, a little pot was made just for emergency extra grants, which do occasionally come through, which we allow in exceptional circumstances.
But no money's been moved around. It's just
Yeah. So that status quo up to a certain extent, just a change of heading.
Yeah.
And then there was an allocation pot 353 in 23 and 24. Looking at it, a lot of that was a bit of realignment to bring in what was loose in the EMR then to finance the swings. The pot is now rather irrelevant. But has £1,966 in it. So because there's where the subheadings were on a spreadsheet for it, there's no need for them anymore. So we just thought of amalgamating it and putting it through to the Woodfield pot.
So we're not likely to have any pump house charges or...
That was something left over from, and if we carried on with the Fairlight Pavilion project, there would have been more costs involved, and that was sort of put there for that. But it didn't come from any of the really original Fairlight Pavilion money. It came out of general reserves, so it shouldn't be associated anymore with Fairlight Pavilion. Pump House was the name of the architect's site.
Oh, that's right, yeah, I've forgotten. The electricity St Andrews?
They're all, as I say, all those subheadings which were on an Excel spreadsheet aren't relevant anymore.
But the money's still sitting there?
But the money's still sitting there. So we suggest it goes to the Woodfield Fund, because Woodfield's had very little work for years and is now showing sign that it needs some expenditure.
Fine.
Yep, agreed? Yeah. Thank you. Right. Can we note a change for number 9, Clerk's Workday change to approve the Clerk's schedule change to work on Thursday the 9th of October instead of Tuesday the 7th to accommodate training at Extra Parish Council?
Yeah.
Right. To consider the following requests. Take over the Christmas light competition from the FRA. To take over the Christmas light competition this year and in the future, you should have also had a communication in reference to that, which basically didn't say any more really than that one sentence. We would like to.
I think it was on the extended list.
The only comment I can make is the Xmas lights competition. It's been long-standing under the parish council as a light-hearted competition, no pun meant, since at least 2018. It's grown in popularity. The village seems to like it. The winning proceeds, there's usually a first place and a second place, and the two winners have to donate that money to a charity of their choice. 9 times out of 10 it is a charity within the village.
Where was the winnings come from? Would they still expect the parish council? If they haven't
gone into any detail, they've just expressed a wish to take over the running of the competition from this year and forevermore.
What's their rationale?
No idea.
So I personally think it should be the parish council.
I think
because it should be somebody completely separated from the residents and an independent body doing the judging. And it is light-hearted, admittedly, but I think if you start involving other residents, associations, etc.,
and the clique,
then they go, well, if they haven't done it this year, we better give it to them.
And the coven,
I personally would like to say that.
Should we have a quick show of hands on who wishes to keep it in the parish council?
The chairman of Rother District Council will probably make an excellent judge.
Thank you. Okay, quick show of hands of who's in favour of keeping it within the parish council, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unanimous. Keep it in the parish council. Right. Second part of their request on the correspondence was to finance the replacement bench at Woodfield. It's been mentioned in previous meetings. One of the benches at Woodfield is beyond any sort of economical repair. The Maynard section has fractured through, and also I think it was 3 main meetings back the FRA Chris Smart spoke and said the FRA would like to work alongside the parish council in helping towards asset replacements or repairs where possible. It was suggested to the FRA that they could supply a new picnic bench for the one which has been condemned. They've come back and said they're happy to. Just want our acceptance that they can go ahead and replace
it's not one that's nominated to a deceased person.
No, it's just one of the 6-seater picnic benches on the field. There's no nomination plaque on it whatsoever. 11. To consider obtaining quotes for a vegetation cutback affecting the tennis court as per the tennis club's request. So you've seen the correspondence. Yes? Can I get that off?
Yeah, it's on the,
Yeah,
it's on
I
the
don't
email.
have, yeah, I think I posted
nothing
it with the supporting
GDPR or-
thing, didn't I?
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's on the web anyway, but
I think it's with the supporting thing.
yeah. So, but basically, I don't really need to get it up.
No.
And I'm not plugged in. Basically, they've requested a taking down the height of the surrounding hedges and the bits on very minor, small, twiggy trees, which leave the tennis courts in perpetual shade during the winter months and is affecting moss growth. And everything would be better if it was taken down for drying things out and better light conditions.
Or was there not some contentious about this when it was done originally, because it was Izzy and Denise wanted it done, I think. So there was some contention.
When I'll be honest with you, whenever anything like this happens in the village, of course, there's going to be some people which are going to object.
Right.
Whether that be nesting birds or you've dared top some flora and fauna. I mean, that's normal,
Right.
and everyone's, has got to be respected for their views on that. But the land management team did look at that hedgerow and trees round the tennis courts and all the way down to near the baseball court. It is severely overgrown. It is too high. It is being swamped by brambles. The gorse itself is being killed off, and other plants are taken over. So the land management team thought the best thing to do is to take it back a couple of metres even, or at least a metre in width, because it's just ingressing into Woodfield, and take down the height as far as possible without too much interference to any established trees at the very far end, up the tennis court end. The only real way it's going to be done is by a large hedge cutter on a tractor. So it's just a case of, are we in agreement that we should go and get quotes for it?
That's what land management.
I mean, obviously, if the work is carried out, we'd have to comply with times of year as far as nesting birds, etc., which is fine.
Perfect time of year now.
Suggesting taking it
End of
back.
August to the end of February.
So reduce the width as it's spread out into the field itself.
Width
And into the passageway,
by approximately
a metre each
Up
side.
to 2 metres.
2 metres.
Each side, each side.
The spread is.
It's just one of those things
Just one
that
side
it
of the
will
wood
continue to grow back over time,
Oh, yes.
and it's going to be,
Yeah.
so
an
I'll
ongoing
reduce
maintenance.
width by up to 2 metres. Was it each side? Does that make sense?
just-
I don't know what
No,
each side.
just field side,
Field
really.
side.
The other
Field
side is
And reduce the height.
And reduce by.
the other side where the pathway is. That's getting pretty overgrown both sides with brambles encroaching.
There is about 3 feet gap between the fencing of the tennis court and the shrubbery, so it's enough access for going around the tennis court to man it.
And that bit from the baseball, the walkway between the baseball court and the tennis court.
It's very high by the tennis court.
Yeah.
I'll say
I mean, it's
going to be tapering down from tennis court from about 5 foot down to
It's getting very
right at the
lost.
bottom.
Reduce height to 5 foot.
Right to a giant. How do we say to reduce the height in
the height will
Like as it
probably
goes-
have to be taken into a slope.
Yes, I was going to say, how do we work up
Yeah.
to cut at the lay of the land?
Yeah.
Cut it on a bias.
Hmm?
On a bias.
There you are.
Cut it on a
Your
bias.
program the same details, that sort of stuff.
Just the word I was looking for.
Cut on the bias.
Okay, so I've got to reduce the width by up to 2 metres on the field side and reduce height to cut it on a bias.
On the bias, yeah.
On the bias.
In
BIAS.
line with the land.
BIAS.
To an appropriate height.
To an appropriate height.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on that?
Oh, can I just, will you, one of you two be happy to meet the contractor if I find 3 contractors, or if you've got any?
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Smith.
Yeah, I can think of someone.
Lynn was mentioning as well the obstacle where
They can be trimmed up at the same
that's
time.
what I was saying, that's something I can manage.
Right, just section 12 to note parish council meeting dates and confirm the schedule for 2026.
Can I ask why we don't do the same procedure as every other club and society and have a set time? Like most clubs, it's either the first Monday, the third Wednesday, the fourth Friday. Why we can't do it exactly the same way? Because it makes it so much easier for residents as well.
We do basically, we try and aim for the last Tuesday of the month, but if it's right at the very, very end, and it would reduce maybe near a 6-week gap or a 5.5 week gap.
Whichever way you go, there's going to be periods when it's 4 weeks and 5 weeks, that's the way it works. But it just makes it so much simpler to actually actually say, right, it's the last Tuesday of the month period, and then everybody knows that, and that goes on infinitum. Whereas this, unless you're aware of this,
So it's only
you
January.
don't know that sometimes it's not the last.
Yes, the January one, if you mean the January one specifically would be early because
we'll place it on the website to say when
that's purely because we're not having one in December and it's such a long gap.
I
so
can
it's just spread
understand
it a
the
little
January one, but I don't understand why it can't be regularised
But in
like
June,
every other.
But in June, that would make it on the 30th, which is a bit late, isn't it?
But does that really matter? I mean, the fact that it's late in the month, at least it is in that month, and it's only a week difference. I mean, so many things that we discussed.
Is there a
are sort of
particular
ongoing.
deadline date for
Because-
planning meetings, for planning committees that come up? Because we put the planning meeting on the front of the parish meetings,
The plan
and then there's like the subsequent month's planning committee meetings. Is there a deadline that we have to adhere to for those?
I think we're going to have 3 extraordinary meetings as well in the middle of it all as well.
Yes,
To fit in and
Are
you
you
can't, you can't sort of,
This last 12 months has been a little bit.
you can't sort of say, oh, we have that on there because it's too late for this or it's too early for that.
Well, I mean,
they all have different deadlines for planning applications, so I can't really work around it because I don't know what they're going to be.
No, I just wondered if there was,
I mean, the dates are published there, so.
If there are needs,
So
if there's planning applications where we need to discuss it, then we call extraordinary meetings. That's happened already. It's quite normal. But I'm just thinking that for simplicity, and so everybody understands it, going forward, to use a horrible expression, it's the last Tuesday of the month, whatever that is.
I'm not thinking it is,
I think we've got to realise, apart from maybe November, which has got 31 days, January, where it explains, there's only 2 months which is different, to tell you the truth.
And June. And June.
And what happens on leap year? Who knows? Throws everything out.
I mean, I think
It's still the last Tuesday night, isn't it? That's the beauty of it. It's always the last Tuesday. That is.
I mean, personally, I view it at the moment. It's sort of an even split throughout the year, and providing the dates and names to the public.
Sorry, Michael, but I'm
which
happy
makes
with it as
it
it is.
Any other comments?
Let's do it in a cycle.
Thank you. To review and approve the updated publication scheme. I'm not going to go through this. It is on agenda attachments for the public.
The only thing I've changed on there is I have got it in red. I've just changed. It said
there's very little change.
I just added website onto one of them and then just updated the contact details to mine, obviously.
Yeah. Are we happy with it?
Yeah.
Thank you. To consider a request from Maggie Sullivan for the Parish Council in supporting printing leaflets that would inform the community about Wakeham's development.
So this is just to supply the paper only.
Yeah.
Because we have people willing to print.
Right, Maggie Sullivan has taken up the reins from the departed Lorne Smith, and she's bravely and quite admirably volunteered to carry on his hard work. She has requested from the Fairlight Parish Council if we could arrange the printing of more leaflets. 200 were printed by a gentleman who was here at the emergency planning meeting, but however their target is probably nearer 1,000 leaflets. We have volunteers which will do it. We're really just going to reimburse them of paper.
What's the plan?
It is an unusual request, and we would not do this normally for groups, but being the importance of the development and how it's going to affect the majority of Fairlight, and that's not to say people haven't got the right to support it if they wish, but it's undeniable it will affect the majority of Fairlight somehow or another. And the parish council, as far as I'm concerned, it's got to be seen as acting in the best interest for the majority of the village. And it's a pretty minor request. And to put it in perspective, we're talking a few quid, and we've only spent 4.5% of our admin budget this year, because we've been dragged into the 21st century by Danielle.
Well done, Danielle.
So,
well done, Danielle.
so it's a small request at the end of the day. Are we all in agreement? All in agreement, show of hands. Okay. Thank you. Right, bench dedication. It was suggested some months ago that the new bench, the circle, could possibly be dedicated to the late Stephen Ledbetter, who was quite an admirable councillor for many years, some years back. I have spoken to Jean, his wife, who is absolutely delighted with the thought. So we've just got to formally agree whether or not we want to, this council wants to dedicate a bench in his honour.
I'm happy with that.
And I've got an idea. Why don't he's worth a whole new bench, isn't he? I mean, you've already got that bench there.
Yeah,
why not give him a whole new bench? And there's a sort of a bench. It barely justifies the name. Halfway up Battery Hill, it's in terrible state. Why don't we replace that with a whole new bench and have a plaque in memory of Stephen Ledbetter? Just because, you know, we might as well make an improvement. I mean, we really bought the bench. We might as well have something additional benefit to the community by having a nice new bench.
Looking at that bench actually
Just
today.
if anyone needs a bench, it's halfway up a hill, you know.
So this is a new bench.
So,
This is a new bench.
I know you've already placed the bench. It's there, is it not?
If it's
It
not
is.
black.
Yeah, but what I say, I'm saying he's worth more than just a plaque. He's worth a whole new bench, and why not sort of why not use the opportunity to replace the bench that's halfway up Battery Hill, where there is a need for people to rest or if they're walking up the hill, and put it, you know, just have replace the bench there, do something, you know, more than just a plaque.
Already halfway up?
Dedicate a bench.
I think it should be in the village anyway.
Yeah.
Not Battery Hill, because the people are going to see it in the village as opposed to walking up the hill to
remember
yeah,
it.
to remember it.
There
If
needs
it's
to
in
be
the village,
people
it's a day-to-day
with the
thing.
code.
So,
21 years ago, I don't think I've seen more than 20 people walk up that hill.
Well,
You've got to be
at the end of the
brave.
day,
If
we
it
have
is,
a
it's going
brand
to be people from without the area. If the bench is going to be dedicated to him, I think it should be within the village, whether it's this existing one or you donate a new one.
It is a brand new bench. It's not dedicated to anyone.
Also,
The proposal is we dedicate it at a cost of £60 for a plaque to Stephen Ledbetter.
I think it's about £51. It might be a bit more. Can we just agree to the wording while we're all here?
Can we just Well, we acceptance that we're going to dedicate
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
a cost of £60 a plaque.
Yes.
Maybe to the wording.
The wording.
The wording that wants to go on the
Yeah,
plaque.
yeah. I don't know.
This bench,
Can we?
I tell you what, I'll
Can I go
write
back
something
and
up,
ask
and then and then I'll circulate it by email, and then it can be
Jen?
that way.
So I will speak to Jean. She'll be delighted that it's been passed. I'll speak to her probably tomorrow and ask her if she's got any specific wording that she'd like.
Good idea.
Thank you. Right, 16. I want to try and whack this one out as quick as possible. Right, footpaths 23 and 32, sorry, and 34. Update of ownership of footpaths 32 and consider the options. Right, let's do the easy one. To consider the clerk writing to the owner of footpaths 32, which is the one between Waits Lane and Woodland Way, and request they carry out improvements as recommended by Rother. I apologise, I think it was myself which misled or was misinformed and therefore misled, that I was under the impression that footpath belongs to the parish council. It does not. We found out that is in the hands of a private landlord. We've been advised by East Sussex footpath and rights of way people, we do not touch it due to liability, the obvious liability reasons. I think you've seen a reply from East Sussex rights of way people, which has stated that. So we just really need to decide whether or not we're at least going to write a letter to the landowners to ask them to carry out any needed maintenance.
My feeling is we should.
Yeah.
I was disappointed just to suggest that we just leave it as it is. I mean, the whole. I think that's dismissing our obligation, I think, to residents to improve things. And if there is a safety aspect involved, and we say there is, it is quite difficult, that we should try and do something about it. And the answer really is a regular maintenance. It's like all these things. The only reason we've discussed all these things, benches and bus stands and the rest of it, is because they just haven't been cared for over the years. What needs to happen is there needs to be a proper maintenance schedule to make sure these things don't fall into disrepair like they have done in the past. I was disappointed. We just put up a sign saying, you use it at your own risk or something like that. I think that's extremely disappointing. I think we should get in touch with whoever owns it in order to see whether they're prepared to do something about it.
Keep on breathing, everybody.
No, we can, but we may become liable.
Yeah, I think, do I just retract a bit? Because what they've actually, the high footpath, rights of way people are saying is that we can't do anything without the landowner's permission, but if we do, we then become liable.
But the chance of somebody taking us to court because they tripped and fallen over on her is infinitesimal, especially if it's properly looked after. I mean, you have to get these things into proportion.
Is there just one landowner?
Has anybody ever had a serious injury to something using a park?
That's what I'm saying, it's two particular landowners, it's
Yeah.
two bits of property that own.
No, just one property. So it's
One property owns it.
Yeah.
Right. The whole of that path going right the way through to Woodland Way.
I just know it's footpath 32. I don't know the dimensions
But if
of
we're
it.
Woodland Way
saying,
down to Waits Lane.
yeah, but if we're saying to the
Do
owner
we
of
know the
footpath
landowner?
32, then we need to know who the owner is.
No.
I can get. I've got their contact information, so I can write to them. And
So we think it's just one owner, do we?
Well, at the moment, we can't make a decision on whether or not we're going to do any maintenance on it without permission from the landowner. So
I think we need
the
to
question
write to
really
them.
is are we going to write to the landowner to get permission, and we can go from there.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
Sorry, so we don't want to request that they do the work, we want to write to them and request permission?
I think
Well, why don't we write to them?
no.
Why
I think
don't
we should write to them and request that they do the work
I
personally,
agree.
as we've said,
and come back to discuss it?
and come back and discuss it for permission if we want to do the work.
Yeah, if they have a problem, we don't suggest
Yeah.
that. Just ask them if they could, please, if they have any problems, could they come back and discuss it with us?
Yes, yes,
It's
because
been
I-
raised by Rother, isn't it? Is this
Sorry?
being raised by Rother Pathways?
This
East
is, so,
Sussex County Council.
Right.
this is Andrew
Highways.
from Rother.
Oh, is it Rother Highways? Is it
So-
Rother Rights Way? I thought it was East
So
Sussex.
can I
Sorry,
s-
my apologies. It's Rother.
Can I suggest in the letter you
No,
write?
sorry. It's ESCC Council.
No, it's the rights of way people, isn't it?
So, sorry, what work am I asking them to do? Because we've got obviously the
I
public
don't think
road.
we can give them the schedule of works that we're going to go with. They would have to.
So we were
look at
just
that
asking them
themselves.
to make it safe.
Yes,
Okay.
Why is it unsafe at the moment?
it just gets
Water.
totally waterlogged in
Oh,
the
does it?
winter, and you can't transverse it. You can barely transverse it in the
right,
winter
okay.
months. Right.
Go up and down.
Right, footpath 34, which is the one from Woodland Way up to the woods. We verified whether or not we do or don't own that one. We do own that one, but don't ask me to fully explain the legal side. But the rights of way over it belongs to East Sussex County Council. It was registered as a right of way by East Sussex County Council, so it's our land.
The freehold is owned by Fairlight Parish Council and the path is public maintainable with East Sussex County Council's consent.
So we have to get East Sussex County Council's consent. We just a right to East Sussex for their permission, and we can then move ahead and opt for one of the three quotes, which will still be standing.
When we write to
Carry out
them,
the work.
can we say that we would assume that they would give us permission unless we hear back from them within 30 days?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll probably go into a black hole and we won't hear for 6 months. Bear in mind what's happening with councils at the moment.
I
Well,
think
the council
I
with
think
exception.
that's
knowing the chief of rights of way and country parks as I do,
East
known
Sussex
him for
County
about 10
Council.
years,
Yeah.
he is very good at replying. So if you
It's
say,
not for them,
we
it's
would
East
like to
Sussex.
do
Michael,
this.
No, it is. No, it
It's
is.
the same
No, it
person.
is East Sussex.
You're
There isn't a
right.
Rother. There is. It's just East Sussex when it comes to right to work.
and is that who
Yes.
Michael's
Yes.
talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
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 Just
he's
formality,
very good,
really.
He's very good at replying.
Yeah.
I think
So I think
Yeah.
we get an answer for
The
everything.
three of us met with
Then
them.
we'll be in DLA.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sometime
So-
ago.
we're in agreement to
Yeah.
write them seek
Sussex
permission,
rights of way.
and then we can go forward from there. With hopefully before the winter's out.
Exactly.
Right, for noting, response received by Truly to confirm they will inform the PC of up and coming installations. I take it this follows on from their planting a telegraph pole in the middle of our footpath. Okay, thank you. The second precept instalment's been received by Rother District Council. Right. Late correspondence will table at the meeting. I'll do that last. We'll go through the correspondence we know. So we've had a request from a resident regarding Fairlight Parish Council's Facebook page. We don't use it. It wasn't really used a great deal when it started up, and it's just whether or not we want to keep it. If we don't want to keep it, we can make a decision on keeping it, not keeping it. If we don't keep it, we'll write to the, what do you call them, who looks after Facebook's? Sorry? The administrator to get rid of that Facebook page.
Yeah.
But if we're not the administrators, then in which case it should be removed.
We are not the administrators. We can't take over the administration without the administrator's permission, which I doubt we will get. And we don't, I think we've voted in the past that we don't want to keep our Facebook page anyway. So it's just a case of requesting the administrator permanently removes it.
Yeah.
Agreed?
Agreed,
Yeah.
Right. The village people regarding the uneven road surface. So we've had a letter from the village people requesting whether the parish council can write to neighbouring roads. If I'm correct, the neighbouring properties.
Yeah.
There we are. There are.
Can I ask which bit of road they're talking about?
The very top bit of Lower Waits Lane, really, from
You hold that up.
Fairlight
Yeah,
Gardens,
from Fairlight Gardens up to
Well,
the
that's
top,
where
which is potholes pieces.
the pipework's going down.
Well, this was my point.
And-
Basically, I can only make 2 points. One, it is not at the moment for the parish council, as far as I see it, to write to anyone when it
I spoke
belongs to
to
Lower
somebody
Waits Lane maintenance,
who
and it's going to be disturbed a lot very
Yeah.
soon.
I spoke to somebody who is presumably in the know, and they were saying that despite what they were saying, that, and I think it actually says on one of their leaflets, that the repair work won't necessarily be done as they go. They will tend to do it all at once, all at the end, particularly for like Fairlight Gardens and that bit of road. So they won't do, because it goes around Fairlight Gardens and it goes down that road. And the reason why I assume that road's not being repaired, I don't know whether it's under highways, that bit of, it's a private road, isn't it? That
No,
bit?
it's private all the way up to where it joins Shepherd's Lane.
Owned by Gem Select.
Gem Select won't do it.
No.
I've spoken to Gordon Ritchie ages ago, and about moving the fence, and he said he wouldn't move the fence, which he has done now until someone has an accident, because it's not a problem. But they weren't prepared to do the road.
But that is a big pothole.
It's
I think we negotiate that.
I don't
today.
deny
But
that.
that may be done in a month or 2 months' time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they won't. I'm sure that Gem Select won't do it if they know that this project's going to go down that road.
I mean, my personal feeling is pending exactly where a pipe work, and that will have to be dug there. There's no denying
It's
that. That's not going to
100%
be
down that road.
moulded by the machine, that section. I can't see it's a big request to bend Southern Water's arm to reinstate.
Well, at least to fill up the
Yes.
pothole.
Yeah.
That would be the
Yeah.
But really, I think the point of the letter is it's asking the parish council to be right to residents either side of the lane and the care home to see if they're willing to contribute.
Yeah, she asked me
it's
about
not
that,
a
and I said
parish-
it's a
it's
no.
not really a parish council.
It's a no.
First of all, if we get involved in any way, it would have to come through Lower Waste Lane Maintenance Association, I would have thought.
They won't pay for it. I mean, ultimately, it's Gem Select's responsibility.
It is
Yeah.
Gem Select.
But you can't make these people do things. We try. They're not going to put their hands in the pocket and resurface the road.
If I write to Gem Select.
You're wasting your time.
Pending, I think we should do that at least, right?
Because it's
Personally,
formally.
we write formally as a parish council to Gem Select, and I think give them a bit of leeway pending maintenance replacement work.
Don't put that in the letter then.
I'm sure they're aware they
Oh, yes,
have
I'm
their
sure
road
they
dug
will.
up.
I wouldn't put it in the letter, I would just say, we'd be grateful if
Yes, they own them. It's one of those really contentious things. Lee might be able to elaborate a little bit more. They own the road, but not the surface.
Yes.
So, the residents. So why would you want the residents?
So unless you're a badger, you're okay.
Well, exactly, yeah, I think Fairlight.
So write to Gem Select.
Okay, I think that all we can do at this point is write Gem Select and ask them to consider research.
And perhaps respond to the village people saying that that's what we're doing, is it's
Yes.
not parish council
I
responsibility.
think they've just written one about the bats, etc. as well. So there's another letter just gone in today about the TPO, etc. Various other things.
So write to Gem Select and ask if they would reconsider resurfacing the road, or
Yeah.
consider or reconsider and ask them.
Okay.
An email.
We've had an email, I'm sure you all read, regarding installation of the flower beds. The person who wrote that or has requested this would have liked to have been here today, but they can't. They couldn't have got here today, and that has requested we can reschedule this for next month.
Yep.
Where did they want the installation of flower beds?
Sorry?
Where did they want it?
Well,
It's
That's
just
additional ones.
a proposal sort of thing, but say we can cover it next month. Huh? Yeah. We've had a third letter in regarding the grants to Dish. I don't know how others feel, but personally I think this is the third response from the same person in connection with a non-award for Dish in this year's grant awards. I believe all points have been covered previously. There's not much more that could be said public on this matter, other than the correspondence has misread my statement given on the meeting of the 22nd of July 2025. This, along with other previous comments and conversations, can be reviewed by anyone on YouTube if they wish. I don't know if anyone's got any comments.
When this popped up before, I was outside, and so was Carl Maynard, and he was quite, how should I say, annoyed that somebody should bring up the question of why the grants weren't allowed. He felt it was bad form once the decision had been made to query.
It's not a decision that can be looked at again until next year.
No.
And it's still taking up an awful lot of council time.
And
Danielle's time.
Well, in fairness, there wasn't a request to actually reply from this latest communications, and I propose that we don't. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I do have two late correspondence to quickly go through. I'm not too sure if everyone received this. Maggie Sullivan sent over a report including things like, so you have it, but I better read it out. Dear Chairman, further to our recent extraordinary PC meeting on Monday the 15th September 2025 and my closing suggestion within my talk on the global flooding issue in Fairlight and seeking professional input. To look at the planning policy and law in the future, I have since reflected this further and feel that rather than it be left until possibly the appeal stage to engage advice whether we shouldn't avail of such services now, and I ask whether the advice may be possible under the Parish Council's funds for the professional support. Naturally, I'm keen to support the Parish Council and the best I can, but as mentioned in my notes, I'm not a professional in either planning policy or planning law. Maggie was unsure whether this issue needs to be tabled for open debate within the Parish Council and parishioners, or if this issue is something that needs to be tabled internally amongst Parish Council members. But I believe it's an important point. Obviously, time is extremely limited. However, so perhaps you could read out my email at the up and coming PC meeting and to be addressed, please. We've also, in response to that, I have a short email from the chair of the Parish Council. I believe after listening to the conversation at the planning meeting and speaking and listening to Maggie, it would be wise for us, and maybe the PET PC might like to join us, to employ a professional planning consultant. I feel this might help us be more prepared and better our chances if we get to meet the inspector or at the Wakeham's planning meeting, and perhaps if it goes to appeal. We can't really make any decisions. This is late correspondence, came out after the agenda, sadly. So the best I can suggest is that we do make it an agenda item next month, which may or may not, pending our decisions, then be of very limited timescales to sort anything before the Rother planning hearing.
Can we approach Parish Council in the meantime to try and work together with them? We don't necessarily have to employ a planning consultant, but I think it's something that we should all be on the same page about.
Chair, could I interject here?
Yes, sorry.
Just to say, I notified the chair of David Penfold, so I notified him of the fact that you guys are probably going to object, and just making sure he was across it with his parish team. In terms of looking at the application, it's extremely technical. The issues are extremely technical, and it relies a lot on law of flooding versus the national targets. And I think in the previous one was a very, very complicated case, a lot of which was based on flow rates, which weren't included in the inspector's final report, but was made up a big part of that hearing. And I just think it's just at such a technical level to find the planning reasons within Southern Water's obligations or not obligations. Yes. We all know what Maggie's gone through, we know what the property's like, we know further down in Pett, Chick Hill, Marsham, what's going on there, but it needs somebody...
You've got Alan Crouch as well on Pett Parish Council, and he's very, very up to date with it, because he lives right down on the level there. So
he's on the road, isn't he?
He's on the road, so he sees it first hand.
Yeah.
He's been there all his life. But they are all quite limited in numbers, aren't they? There's not many of them.
But I do think that sort of expertise is because having sat on the planning committee, and I am on the planning committee looking at this one, so I'm not predetermined in any way how it comes out, but even in us assessing it, it's going to be very, very technical.
Yes.
So I think the parish would probably benefit from any advice it could procure.
I definitely propose that we, between now and October, we write to Pett Parish Council for some sort of united front, to put it in very simplistic terms, and to pool expertise, and definitely start preliminary talks in as far as seeking a independent planning officer to build a case, or help build a case.
I don't suppose it's going to be the last planning application where we are going to be, united on flooding issues at Pett level.
No, I mean I think
come from Fairlight, or even Guessling, that feeds down into the Marsham Valley.
Perhaps a better way of putting it, I imagine Pett Parish Council are fully aware of what happens in Fairlight affects Pett level.
Can I suggest that I seem to remember last time that the figures quoted in the plan submissions were inaccurate, which was picked up by Ruth Cosman, and she put that in her presentation. Can I suggest that we contact Ruth Cosman and Leslie again and ask them if they would like to liaise with on do they know? I mean, Ruth is quite well connected. I think is one way of putting it. They're both well connected.
Yes, yeah.
Bearing in mind Leslie is a professor of land law. Whether or not it's worth asking them if they know anybody that would be prepared that is knowledgeable enough to speak on flooding and land law and planning. Is that worth a thought?
My own feeling is that the expertise needs to lie in planning law, because it is connecting the arguments. I mean, there's multiple arguments that come from everywhere, but I've sat in enough meetings and committees where they go, that's not a planning issue. And you go, it's a common sense issue. I mean, you've heard it, you've had heads of planning outside your house looking at Market Garden site and going, but that's not a planning issue. And it's just really important to separate the general objections that people might have and to understand what that actually means.
But does that mean flooding isn't a planning issue?
Well, that's why we need somebody.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I believe it is, but under what circumstances, and who knows? I just think it's super technical. I read the old inspector's report, I've looked at this application, obviously I know the area, and it's just a very, very complicated...
There have been comments recently, haven't they, in government about the fact that there shouldn't have been so much building on floodplains.
But that's the problem.
That's
it's
great
not on the floodplain.
anecdotally, but it doesn't go to the plan.
Well, yeah, but it does, doesn't it? That the planning have allowed building on floodplains, which they were saying, the government is saying it should not have happened.
And the government also saying they want to build 1.5 million houses.
Yeah, but not on floodplains. So
The centre point
That's
is it's
not-
not classified,
No.
the building site is not classified in any floodplain. It comes under the zone 1, which is low risk. This is one of the issues. But their dispersal of the water from that zone 1 is in a zone 3.
can we try and find out if there's any planning people that are does anybody know any surveyors or anything like that are
Well, I think
experts?
Westfield have used people
Yeah.
before, because it's not
Yeah,
uncommon
Westfield has.
for a parish to have a legal fund and to seek, professional advice on various issues.
I'm just thinking perhaps we should, can we ring, so somebody can ring David Penfold and have a word with them as well as write to them so we get it in writing, so we sort of, get this thing moving, because we haven't got that much time.
I think
I can help advise
I
after
can
the meeting,
contact,
just to save time.
Westfield.
I can
Yeah.
advise on that, asking Sarah.
Their advice.
And write to them as well.
And obviously it can be put on the October agenda.
And perhaps
I think there's a whole conversation that's got to go on the October agenda now.
Yeah.
But I think we'll do
some
whatever we can in the
wheels.
meantime.
preliminary
Moving,
work,
Yeah.
Can we write to Pets?
investigation.
Before-
I'll write to that, yeah.
Yeah. As far as the expertise reports on the actual water, I don't think we're going to have a massive problem getting hold of them. But I believe, and I agree with Tim, that it's a case of how you put it all together.
But do we need to speak to Westfield and get their...
I can
we're
speak
going
to the clerk there, yeah, she's really nice, I'll speak to her and ask.
Because we do
For her
need
advice.
somebody who is expert in planning law and the way of bringing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff's got his hands up.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jeff?
Should there be a pot for these professionals earmarked?
We have got an
We have got
reserve.
one in this year's budget and we've got some in reserve.
Okay.
Panic not.
Is it earmarked?
Yeah.
50% is now. Okay, I don't think we can really go much further here because, I mean, sadly, the communication has come through too late to make it an agenda item. And I think the benefit of that in some ways is that all of us can go away and do some sort of homework on what is going to be needed for a agenda item in October.
What was the other late,
Okay.
what was the other late correspondence? You said there was 2 late correspondence.
Yeah, it was the chair's support of Maggie's real comments and that we need to start looking at a planning expert or the possibility of using a planning expert. Okay, is there any items to consider for future agendas other than the one we've just discussed? Anybody got anything they really need on the next agenda?
No, Danny, did you make a note about writing to the owners of the land next door to the Knollwood? About a tree that's fallen down in Knollwood.
Yeah.
Next door to it.
Or in this next, isn't it?
And then I think Michael's right, actually, that bench on halfway up Battery Hill probably does need looking at. Cause
We have.
You have.
Haven't we?
It's
been dealt with
already. Yeah, I think
I mean, I don't know if there's much you can be made to make it look more
It's
cheerful.
more
but-
just now
Another
because I've
2
cleared quite a
bench
bit of it.
Oh, right,
a
you've
bench
well done.
replacement and a new bench because we still haven't verified the second bench off the viewpoint on Battery
I'll just
Hill
do
either.
benches and then I'll find out where they
Yeah.
are.
Okay. Okay, date of the next meeting to be confirmed, the 28th of October 2025. Right, the council will now consider going in the resolution into a private session on the grounds of the following business will be disclosed with exempt matters, which are leases, to agree on response to
Sorry, the
solicitors.
public's
Oh, sorry.
Everyone's
I
got
was just
leave.
going to say, we're going to
La, la, la,
the
la,
thing
la,
we're
la,
going
la,
to
la.
discuss now has legal implications, so we need to go into a private session you need to vote on whether we or not you agree to go into a private session. Yes? Yeah. Okay. The meeting is now closed to members of the public.